Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into something absolutely massive: how to achieve the profound happiness known as enlightenment. But here's the twist. We are not talking about retreating to an isolated cave to do this. We're actually drawing from a really fascinating foundational lecture given on October 7, 1990, at the Nagaoka City Welfare Hall in Niigata Prefecture. And what this lecture presents is a highly practical, actionable roadmap for spiritual awakening that is designed specifically for our busy, modern world.
To get there, we'll be walking through a highly structured, active framework. We'll look at the modern path itself and then break down 3 crucial steps: discovering your true mind, maintaining peace of mind, and developing that mind, all of which lead us to that ultimate happiness.
So, let's just jump right into it and talk about shifting the paradigm of what enlightenment actually means today.
We really need to shatter this old, outdated illusion right out of the gate. Enlightenment is no longer about fleeing to the mountains to meditate in silence or sitting under freezing waterfalls, totally isolated from society. Actually, it's a completely accessible practice meant to be achieved right in the middle of your morning commute, during a really stressful day at the office, or even amidst chaotic family dinners. True enlightenment has to be something you can practice and attain in your everyday, highly active environment.
So, what is it exactly? Well, the source defines enlightenment in a very grounded way. It literally means knowing one's own mind. It's that profound realization that your physical body, the hair, the face, the limbs, is really just an outer coat. The real you is the spiritual mind underneath all of that. And discovering this true self, that is step 1 on our path. Which brings us right to discovering that true mind, specifically by looking at 2 core concepts: love and good. Now, you might be wondering, how do we actually look inward to discover this true mind in the first place? According to the text, you found it when you can clearly identify 2 core mental faculties operating within you. First is love. And we aren't just talking about romance here. It's an emotional intuition. It's the genuine, deeply felt desire for others to be happy. The second is good. This is your intellect. It's the wisdom and the decisive action required to actually stop wrong or evil from happening.
And the text expands on this in a really interesting way by contrasting small and great versions of these faculties. Small love and good is basically taking care of your immediate family and acting decently so you aren't ashamed in front of others. It's absolutely essential, sure, but it's just the baseline. Great love and good, however, that requires looking way beyond just individuals. It means stepping up to fight societal evils, pushing for grand human ideals, and actively desiring the happiness of entire communities, nations, or even all of humanity.
Now, I know these can sound like really abstract concepts. So, to understand how love and good actually function together out in the real world, the source gives us this fantastic historical narrative from about 2,500 years ago in ancient China.
This is the story of the philosopher Mozi. Mozi caught wind of a credible rumor that a neighboring kingdom was gearing up to invade his homeland, and they had developed this terrifying new siege weapon called the Cloud Ladder. It was a massive mobile tower that would allow soldiers to attack directly over castle walls. Driven by a deep, profound love to save his people from the horrors of war, Mozi traveled completely alone right across enemy lines to directly confront the enemy king and his top military strategist.
But notice how Mozi didn't just beg for peace here. He used his intellect. This is the concept of good in action. He literally set up a miniature model of a castle right on a desk and mathematically proved to the king that he had developed defensive tactics that would completely neutralize that cloud ladder. He used sheer tactical wisdom to intellectually outmaneuver the enemy and stop an evil act of war in its tracks.
And it gets better. The enemy strategist realized he was totally outsmarted and actually considered just assassinating Mozi right then and there. But Mozi stood his ground. He looked at them and said, "Even if you take my life, my disciples already have the defense plans." Boom! He successfully stopped the invasion. And honestly, the most poignant part of this whole story? When Mozi walked home, he got caught in a massive rainstorm. He asked for shelter at a house in his own country, the very country he just saved, and was turned away by people who just thought he was a vagrant. Yet his mind was fully illuminated. He didn't need their praise at all because he was acting purely out of great love and great good. That leads us perfectly into our next phase, maintaining peace of mind and learning how to weather the storm.
Let's see how this all builds together. Once you've discovered your true mind through love and good, you really need to know how to keep it stable amidst the intense stress of daily society. To maintain this essential peace of mind, which the text points out is intimately connected to feeling true happiness, you have to practice daily reflection. Think of your mind like a perfectly calm, still pond. Throughout the day, friction with coworkers, frustrating emails, just stressful life events, they're like stones thrown into that pond, causing rapid ripples. You have to reflect daily to identify exactly what caused your mind to waver, correct your mistakes, extract the lesson, and then just let it go to completely clear the slate.
But the source makes a crucial and very practical distinction here. While daily reflection requires a lot of deep humility to fix that everyday interpersonal friction, sometimes you are going to face massive, unavoidable crises. We're talking severe economic ruin, intense public criticism, or outright sabotage. In those storm-like moments, reflection just isn't enough. You have to pivot to an unshakable mind. This is a totally immovable state, rooted in the confident belief that you are on the right spiritual path and acting with genuine love and good.
All right, moving right along to the next crucial step, developing the mind and returning to society. So, having secured this inner peace, the source actually warns us not to just stop there. There's this old proverb mentioned in the text that I absolutely love. Small saints hide in the mountains. Great saints live in the city. You see, it's pretty easy to maintain perfect peace if you're just hiding from the world in a quiet hermitage. But true enlightenment, that great saint path, means taking your peaceful mind right back into the noisy, complicated world to multiply your positive impact and help others achieve happiness too.
Of course, expanding your influence like that inevitably brings heavy resistance. To survive this stage of development, the source states you absolutely must arm yourself with two things. First is hope. This is framed as a deep faith that every single hardship is actually an opportunity designed to help your soul evolve. And second is courage. That's the sheer willpower to act decisively despite obstacles. Think back to Mansi facing down an entire enemy army completely alone. That is exactly the kind of courage required to fully develop your mind.
And finally, this brings us to the ultimate goal, the happiness known as enlightenment.
Now we arrive at the culmination of this incredible inward and upward journey. The source concludes that true, ultimate happiness is not about worldly wealth or living a stress-free life sitting on a beach somewhere. It's about discovering your true mind, anchoring it in unshakable peace, and bravely developing it in the real world to help others. By continuously cycling through this process, discovery, peace, and development, you completely fulfill your soul's mission. And that profound sense of fulfillment, that is literally just another name for enlightenment itself.
It's such a powerful reframing of a concept that usually feels so incredibly distant. Enlightenment is not a passive state. It is an active, modern, and highly impactful pursuit. Your true self is waiting to be discovered, not on a mountaintop, but right in the middle of your messy, beautiful life. So I leave you with this final thought to ponder. How will you develop your mind today? Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.